Okay. So you have seen that how we can write the array, and if you talk about the object means key and value pair, right? And the JSON object here you can see in the last class I have told you, if you want to create the object, right? So how you can create the object? So you have to select the JSON and using the curly bracket, open curly bracket and close curly bracket, right? Inside that we are writing key and value, key and value, key and value. That is the JSON object. JSON object. You can see it here. The first name is the key and the value is John. The last name is the key and DAW is the last name, the value. Okay. And if you are using the JSON array, so how did you create an JSON array? You have to use the square bracket. Inside that square bracket, you can create the object. So generally, the when we have to create the array and all, this is decided by the client actually, right? The JSON schema is decided by the client. Okay, so when generally in which condition they are deciding that we have to create an array. So if you have to store the same object with different value, let's suppose we have the employee, and inside the employee if we have multiple employees you want to store, right? In that case we are using the array, right? Inside the array we can store the multiple object with key and value. Okay, so you can see this is the basic diagram of that basic flow chart. API request, right? And when it going, it will verify the JSON schema. When it's connected with the server, it will verify the JSON schema, right? After that the process will get started. After that it will return the output. After that again it will validate your format, your JSON schema. What is your JSON schema, right? And it will give you the response. Okay, so in the beginning it validate the format, or when you get the output again it will validate your format. It is valid JSON schema or not, which you are getting to the server. When we are sending the request to the server, we are validating the format. When we are getting the response, we are validating the format. Okay. Now, let's try to discuss one requirement. Okay. So in the real time, you will get one requirement like that. You can see the requirement sheet. Okay, now what we will do, we will try to map this requirement. Okay, so let me close all the things. Close, do not save. Okay, so we were using which workspace? Let me go to that workspace. Lotus, I think. Right, and we seen one requirement like how to create the user. You can see it here, right? So let me create one folder and move this all the requirement inside that particular folder. Let me rename users. Okay, users I have created, and let me move all the things inside.
Because sir,
yes sir,
can you increase the size? It's a small screen visible for me.
Okay. Can you see now?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so now we will try to map this requirement. Okay, how you can. Now first you will go and let's suppose I am creating one simple folder. Add folder. I have added one folder. Inside this folder I will add the request. Okay, do not save. Okay, I have added one folder. Now read the requirement. What the requirement is asking to you? Create the employee object. It's asking to you to create an employee object. right? So you can see it here in the description. Create the employee object using the post method. Please find the below mapping detail. Okay, now so you can see what method is this? Post method. First we will go and create the request and select the post method. Okay, first thing is done. Now you can see it uses the employee resource. It uses the employee resource. Okay, I will pass the resource as the employee here. Right, right. Now you have to find the base URL. So base URL is not here. It is somewhere it mentioned. Okay, I think the base URL which we are using, this is, base URL, you have to take it from your developer or your team lead or the client. Okay, so in my case, what base URL we are using? Localhost 3000, something like that, right? So I will go and start my server. So what is this command to start your server? Let me copy that command. I don't have remember. Yeah. So please start your server. Please start your server. So I will go and start my server. I have started my server, right? Okay. Now, this is your base URL. Copy this base URL and go here and pass it here. Oh, let me again copy. Man. Okay, no problem. Let me manually type. Stop and start my server. So let me manually copy actually. HTTP localhost 3000, I think. Let me verify. HTTP localhost 3000, right? And this is your resource. So in the real time, in the document, if they have not provided the, generally they will not provide the base URL. The base URL which you have to take it from your team lead or your developer which you are coordinating with, right? So you get the base URL and the resource. Now you can see it here, the post header content type you have to pass application JSON. Okay, so content type application JSON. So what did you mean by actually, which you have to pass inside the header? Inside the header, here you will go here in the header section. Here you have to pass the key content type. Content type. Sorry, content type. Content type. Okay, and the value is application JSON. They will provide you which header you have to pass. Okay, so in that case, go to the header section and add that particular key and value. This the above header, it is by default, it is added by the postman, right? I will explain you about this header also. Okay, so right now we are only concentrate on the requirement header. So what did you mean by the header? Header means basically when we are connecting with the server, when we are sending the request to the server, we are asking to the server that the request which we are passing, it is in the particular format which we are passing. So right now it is in the JSON format, right? So in that case, you have to ask to the server the request which you are passing, right? It is in the form of JSON, right? So you have to use content type and the value. Value is application JSON. This value application JSON is already fixed. This is, the API protocol which developer has to implement. Okay, and this header will provided by your team lead, means your client. If it is not provided, you will get the error message when you connect with the server. Then you have to coordinate with your team lead what mistake you are doing. Then they will provide you header also, what header you have to pass. So let's suppose we have passed the JSON, then you have to pass a JSON here. If you are passing XML, then you have to pass XML. If you are passing text, right, you can see it here. The different types are there. Here you can see JSON. If you are sending JavaScript, if you are sending PDF, right? So there are multiple types are there, right? So depends on the request format. You have to ask to the server that which format you are sending. So right now we are using application JSON. Okay, now go to the below table. Here you can see they have added one section parameter, right? And they have created 4 different column: the name column, type column, in column, description column. Okay, you have 4 types of column here. Okay, now uh, depends on the project, the name will be changed. Okay, so do not worry. Okay, you can see in the name column they have provided one key, that is first name. So you have to go to your body and select the raw, select the JSON and create the JSON object. Create the JSON object here and pass the key. What is the key here? So make sure you will copy the right key. I know you are very good in English, right? But always try to copy, because there is case sensitive issue. I know you are very good. You can type first name or any name, any key is there, right? You can type. But I would recommend, as per my experience, always try to copy and paste so that you can ignore the mistake. Okay.
This JSON is case sensitive because
Yeah, it is case sensitive. Generally, it depends like what the developer has, did the implementation, how the developer has, completed his implementation in his API. If they have added the validation for the case sensitive, you will get error message.
Because there is no character limitations.
Sorry?
There is no number of character limitation to pass in this JSON body. Because in document sheet, I'm not seeing
No. You are asking that how many keys we can add, right?
Yes. And
No,
values all.
no. There is not any limitation. It totally depends on your, how your API is implemented. But there is not any limitation. You can add as number of the key, right? But that key will supported by your API. Okay.
Because in
If
UI
in that
all,
condition it.
why I
Sorry?
had those risks? Yes, because in UI in some websites all we will have some limitation, right? Like for example, this name field or whatever should be within this character.
Okay. You are discussing that thing. Okay. I will come to that point. Right now, I'm adding the only key. The key don't have the limitation. You can add as much you can, but depends on the requirement. Like if it is support, then let's suppose if I'm adding invalid. If it is not support, then you will get the error message. Okay. I think you are asking about the value, not the key.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, about the value, right? The value which you are
Yes.
passing. Okay, we will discuss. Okay,
Okay.
so we are added the first name, that is your key. Now you can see it here, the type. What is the type of this key? The type of this key is string. And you can see it here where you have to pass in a body. So this is your body where you have to pass. Okay, and the type is string. And here you can see the description, employee first name to create the application. Okay, here this description, why we are adding the first name, they will also provide the description. Employee first name actually it is to create the application, sorry, to create the application. Okay, so I will add the, what is the type here, a string. So what I have to use is string, right? So let's suppose I am adding Mayank. Okay, Mayank. If in the requirement you can see it here, it added the string. You can't add the number here. You can't use the number here instead of something like that. You can't write like that. You will get which error message, guys? Tell me. If you are writing like that.
Bad request. This for not.
Everyone, please tell me which error I have. I think I have not explained the status code, right? Oh, that is pending actually. Okay, no worry. No worry, guys. I think in the performance testing class I have explained. No worry. So,
400
if
series error we
yeah,
will
400 series you will get. If you are in the 400 series, if you are not mapping your requirement as per the requirement, if you are not mapping the things as per the requirement, you will get the 400 series, that is client error. In 400 series, generally you will get 400 bad request because you are creating the bad request. Okay, so here you have to pass the string. Okay, so that's why in last Friday I have explained you the data type. That is the reason behind of that, why I have explained you the data type, the JSON data type. Okay, now we are moving to the second property. What is your second property here? So now second property, last, let me copy. I don't want to do the mistake. Let me copy last name and we'll go here and pass it here, last name. And what is the last name here? Let's suppose the Mayank last name is Singh. Okay, now you can see it here. If you go here, Mayank, it is also a string. You have to pass inside the body and the description, employee last name to create the application. Okay, now again prefix you have to pass. Copy the prefix, and here you will pass the prefix, right? And what is the prefix value you can pass? The string value you can pass. And they have provided in the example also, like doctor, engineer, professor, like that you can use. They have also provided the sample. Okay, so you can see it is also an string value and it is an body inside the body. So inside the body I have passed doctor, let's suppose. Okay, so why, guys, this error is coming? Tell me.
comma
Need to
is
provide
not
comma
used
after the parameters.
after value parameters, comma need.
The JSON format is missing.
Comma is
Okay.
missing end of the parameter, Vikash.
Okay, right, because we are following the wrong JSON format. Okay, we have to pass the comma here because after then we have the next statement, right? Again we have the next statement. Now it get resolved. Correct, guys? Agree? Now
Yes.
Now we are moving to the next requirement. Next, not requirement, next value. Okay. birth surname. So I will copy the birth surname, and where it is also a string, and inside the body you have to pass employee birth surname. Okay, so I will go here and pass it here. And what is the employee birth surname? Let's suppose surname, something like Sonu, something like Sonu. Okay, I have passed. Next, move to the next requirement, the email. Email, I will copy the email and go here and pass the email here, and the body. And what is the email? It is also a string, and the body you have to pass. Here you can see they have added the requirement employee email ID to get the notification regarding the application. For which purpose we are adding the email? To get the email notification. So let's suppose this is the email ID of the Mayank. Mayank123@gmail.com. Okay. Now, smoker. Smoker is one property. Property is also known as a key. Key is also known as a property. So do not get confused. Sometime I will take the name property, sometime key. Okay. So I will copy this key and go here and pass it here. Okay, smoker. And guys, what is the data type here? Tell me.
Boolean.
Boolean, right? So here you have to pass the, where you have to pass, you can check it here inside the body. So you will go here and pass it here. Correct or wrong? Is I have mapped correctly or it is wrong?
It's wrong. Boolean cannot be in double quotes.
It is an string which I have passed. Now it is an Boolean, right?
Yeah.
If you are smoking, then you can pass the true. If you are not, then false. Okay. Now, moving to the next part. Smoke date. Smoke date. And one thing I also want to explain you guys. Generally in the real time, when the developer creating the key or key, this key and property, they are not using the multiple words. They are using the single word generally in the real time. If in my 8 years of experience, I have not seen they are using, using the space. They are, they having the multiple words, right? They will create only single word. Generally, 99% I am sure they will use only single word.
One question. Yeah. Can there be duplicate keys or duplicate values also?
Yeah, I will come to that point, sir. Don't worry. Don't worry. No, you can't write the duplicate actually. Okay, that I will explain you. Okay. If you want to write, you can see it here. What happened? I am adding the prefix. You can see it will give you the warning that duplicate object key. Can you see the warning?
Yes, yes.
Right. So you can't add the duplicate actually. Okay. And you can also add in the case of array. That I will explain you. Okay. Now, smoking date. You can pass the null or some date here, like date also. Right. Some date. Null, or you can pass the null values also. Null. Otherwise, if you want to pass the date, you can pass the date. Date of birth. Copy this date of birth and go here and pass the date of birth. Okay. Now, what is the date of birth? The string, it is an string inside the body, and the client will also provide you in which format you want to pass the date of birth. So guys, I'm asking you one simple and the basic question. You all guys in working on the testing industry. So tell me, on which basis this format is decided? Not I'm asking only date of birth. I'm asking where we can use the date. On which basis this format is decided? The client, how the client is deciding this format.
So like in calendar, generally we use DDMMYYY.
Mhm.
But
So basically what happens, sir,
Depend on client
depends
only.
on the country format. In India, we are using DDMMYY, right? In some other company, sorry, some other country, they having this some different format of writing. They will use something like first year, then date, then month. In I think in Europe, they are using month first, date, and then year. Okay, so depends on the country to country, the client. So let's suppose your application is used in the UK, right? So can you use the India format there? No, because their people mindset is MMDDYY, but you are following DDMMYY, right? Sometimes even we get confused in some of the application. Have you seen they have using MMDDYY? And when we are selecting the date, we thought that it is in the DDMMYY, because the Indian person thought is, they are selecting the date in date, first date, then month, then year. Agree or not?
yes, sir.
Guys, you can mute. Okay. So now let me create the request string. It is an string. I will go here and create the YY0507 and right. I have created the date. Okay. Now what is the next value? Sorry.
Slash won't be used anywhere, like in date.
Come again, sir. Come again.
Like in date, slash won't be used like in
No,
TDMM.
generally they will provide you what format you have to use. They will provide you. This is not up to you actually, sir. If your client is providing, you have to use the minus symbol, the hyphen symbol, then you have to use the hyphen. Okay. If the client is asking use the slash, then slash, right? But as part of your testing, you can apply the slash as well, minus as well. And if you are getting any error, then you have to discuss this thing with the client, that you are using the correct date, but instead of minus, instead of hyphen, you are use this forward slash. Can is this applicable? Then client will clarify you that we are not following this format, so this scenario is not applicable. Or they will ask you, yes, this is a valid scenario, we have to update the requirement, you can log the bug, then you can log the bug. Okay.
Okay.
Everything is the requirement, sir, in API. Everything is the requirement. We are not deciding anything. Okay. Now come to the next part, the type. So I will go and select the type here. Type. So type. Okay. And what value I am passing inside the type? It is an string and the body, and the client has provided the three type: client, partner, and child. Sometimes the as per the requirement, guys, have you seen one thing? Let me open the make my trip. Open the make my trip, click on the search. I click on the search. Okay, view price. And book now. Guys, one thing, like please make the payment. Like some of the person has not made the payment, they ask for some time, right, due to some reason. So now the time is over, so please make the payment who has not made the payment, please. So you can see do not and continue. So guys, tell me, inside the first name, tell me, can you pass any first name or not? Like something like that I can pass. If I want to pass Vikas, right, if you want to pass Mayank, can you pass any values or not?
Yes.
Not the invalid, at least valid. If I talk about the valid, you can pass any value, right?
Yes.
Right. Same it is applicable for the last name. Why we are passing in any value, guys? Tell me. Is there any logic?
It is as per the requirement, like you can enter any name, first name, last name.
So because in the market, whoever use this application, every person first name last name is different or maybe duplicate also. So they can't put the validation on the first name or last name. Agree? Your name
Yes.
is Mayank, my name is Vikas, her name is Priya, right? So every person name is different. Agree? Right? So similarly with the last name. Okay, so that's why we don't have here the validation. You know, you can pass any valid value, but we have the limit, the character limit, that we will discuss. Okay, and here you can see in the wheelchair we have one field, require or not require, right? So we have two type, require or not required. Okay, this thing is decided by your company, by the client, because they want to create the data which require or not required. Okay, so if I go and show you here, you can see they defined the in country code, India, Afghanistan, Albania, right, Algeria, right, they have defined the types of country code. Why they are defining the type of the country code? Tell me, is there any logic?
Yes.
What is the logic behind that?
Every country has country code for mobile phones, mobile phone number.
Right, every country having the separate mobile number, right, separate the country code, right? But if I leave it as a blank, let's suppose if user if the client make it this as a blank, right? So in that case the client can put any value, right? Any value they can put, which is even the value which is not exist into your database, that country code they can also enter, right? So they have defined the country code. In this country code you can only select the value, right? If any country, let's suppose if any country is not in this list, in this drop down list, so what did you mean by that? Any country, let's suppose any country which is not listed inside this list, now tell me what did you mean by that?
The client is not providing service to that country.
Exactly, the client is not providing the service for that particular country. The airline company is not providing in at that for that country, right? That's the one simple meaning we can consider. Okay, similarly in the requirement, in some of the property, the client will define the value. You have to pass the value from this, either client, either partner, either child. They will define the things. They will define the value. Now, did you what I'm trying to say? It's clear why I have written client and partner or child? Because the client want to provide the service for this type, for the client, partner, and the child. If you are opening the account, you are the owner of your account, then you have to select client. If you are opening the account for the partner, then you have to select partner. If you have to open your account for your child, then you have to select child. So you might have question that I am not able to understand. What did you mean by this type? Do not understand. Leave it, because in your project this requirement will be totally different. There should be some different keys and value. Agree or not? In your project you will not use the type, date of birth, smoke days, smoker. You have some different value. Agree?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why try to understand the concept, key and value concept. Do not go with the why you are passing only client here and the partner. This is just a requirement. Just a requirement. The requirement is asking you to select the client and partner and the child. So what I will do, select the client. I have selected the client, right? You can also pass the partner. Okay. Now select the client. Now moving to the next mapping, nationality. So nationality, I will select the nationality, copy the nationality, and what is your nationality? So let's see, string and the body and the nationality. So guys, somewhere have you seen they are providing the code for the nationality? Like if you are belong from the India, they will provide IND. If you are providing from UK, then they will provide UK. If they will, if you are from the America, then they will provide UK as something like that. They will they will define the code in some of the requirement, but here I am not defining the country code. In your case, in your requirement, you might have. Okay, so I am passing here IND. Okay, now in tomorrow class we will discuss the other mapping, the address, street, and house number, postal code, city, right? And then they will provide you the sample response, how it looks like. Now guys, tell me which one is easy, the previous requirement where you had, you get the ready-made stuff. This one is easy and this one is easy for you.
This one only.
Second. Yeah.
This one is easy.
This one.
How you can say this one is easy? Here you have to map individually. Your the labor get, your effort will get increases here. Here you have to just copy.
Previous one is easy. This one is easy. Just copy paste and execute it.
Right. So this is one type of the requirement which you will face in the real time, and this is the another type of the requirement which you will face in the real time. Depends on to project. We will discuss 3 to 4 requirement. Okay, so in tomorrow class we will discuss further, and sorry for today, I was late half an hour, so we can discuss the time is already over, so we can discuss further like address and the street and the house number, right? And we'll see. Any question, guys?
This value of boolean and null will be always in small letters as a value.
Yeah, generally this is the protocol, actually the
Oh.
general protocol for the boolean, for the data type. True and false. And again I am asking, if it is not accepting, generally it is in the small, it is in the small, right? If the first character is accepting true, then in the requirement they will mention, in the requirement they will mention, okay, what you have to pass like that, they will provide something like that, okay, either false. Okay, so they will provide the things in the requirement, don't worry. Okay,
Okay.
in API testing, single things we are not doing by own, like all the things we have to follow as per the requirement. Okay, so thank you guys, we will meet tomorrow. Thank you guys, have a nice day.
Vikas,
Thank you.
Yes sir.
please
Thank
check
you.
your Skype. I have sent the payment.
Okay sir, thank you. Thank you sir. Thank you sir, have a nice day, and sorry for today, we will meet tomorrow in the same time.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you, Vikas.
Thank you. Please do not miss any of the single class. Thank you.